Welcome to Genki 1, Lesson 6, Kanji. So here I'm going to go over the kanji from Lesson 6 in Genki. I'm using the Kanji Alive app, which you can find online at app.kanjialive.com. We're going to go through the characters in the order in which they are introduced in the Genki textbook. We have some thematic grouping of the kanji in this lesson. We start out with the kanji for the cardinal directions, and then also some relative directions. And then the last part of that kanji in this lesson tend to deal with sort of school-related kanji. So let's go ahead and get started. The first kanji that we're going to see here is this one. So this is the kanji for east. It is the to of Tokyo. That's its onyomi. Its kunyomi is higashi. So when you are just talking about the direction east, you would use higashi. The main radical for the kanji is the tree radical. Let's go ahead and take a look at stroke order. So horizontal line, sun, then the vertical line, and the two diagonal lines which complete the tree kanji, as you could see here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. But you have a sun. We'll go over to the hint. The sun rising behind the trees from the east. And one more look at stroke order. Okay. Words that use this kanji, there are some here that we use quite a bit in the Genki textbook. Of course, Tokyo, the capital of modern Japan. Other ones that are interesting to know or good to know, Tohoku, which is the Tohoku region of Japan, or the northeast region of Japan, or more literally the east-north region of Japan. When you have all four cardinal directions together, they are pronounced Tozai Namboku, east, west, south, and north. If you can remember this four-character kanji word, this will allow you to memorize the onyomi of all four of these kanji. Kanto is the Kanto region of Japan, the eastern part of Japan where Tokyo is located. Sort of its counterpoint is Kansai, the western part of Japan where Osaka, Kyoto, and Kobe are located. And then lastly, east is Higashi by itself. Okay, the next kanji we're going to look at is the kanji for west. For the onyomi, we have sai or se. Kunyomi is nishi, so when it's in combination with other characters, you will likely read it as se or sai. When it's on its own, you would read it as nishi. It is its own radical. So let's take a look at stroke order. So you can see it's fairly similar to, or it contains the character for yon, for the number 4. It also kind of looks like a pi symbol halfway in a rectangle. Some of the commonly used words that use this kanji are, let's see, Seibu, which is the western part of a country. And here we have Kansai, so as I just explained, the Kansai region, Osaka, Kyoto, Kobe, and then Kanto, never mind, Kanto, Tozai, which is east and west. All right, after this, kanji for north. The onyomi is hoku, like hokusai, for example, the artist. Also can be read as kita on its own. Let's take a look at stroke order. So notice it's not completely symmetrical, even though it a little bit looks like it could be a reversed image. Notice this first section is actually 3 strokes, where the second part of it, the right-hand side, is 2 strokes. Commonly used words, again, Tohoku, that northeastern part of the country of Japan. Hokkaido, this is actually a reading which they don't give us here. Rather than Hoku, it's a Ho and a small tsu. Hokkaido is the northernmost island of Japan, of the 4 major islands. We'll leave it at that for now. The last of our cardinal directions is this one, Minami. So Minami is the kunyomi, Nan is the onyomi. Here's the stroke order. So it's got a cross, a container, and then essentially the symbol for yen. The hint. So I guess the South is known for its fertile soil, where sprouting seeds yield many bags. Sure. Commonly used words that employ this. Let's go with Nambu, like the southern part of a country, for example. Tonan Asia, Southeast Asia. Again, literally East-South Asia. That's good for now. Okay. The next kanji in the list for Genki is this kanji, which is very simple. It's 3 strokes. Let's take a look at the stroke order. As usual, every time we have an enclosure, left side is the first stroke, top and right side is the second stroke. The final stroke is closing up the bottom from left to right. So the readings for this kanji are ko or ku for onyomi. For kunyomi, it is kuchi. Kuchi is a mouth. And this can be like a human or animal's mouth, or it can just refer to some sort of port or inlet. For example, what we will see in Genki, we will have the word deguchi, for example, which is an exit, or literally a port you go out of. Iriguchi is an entrance, the flip of that, a port in which you go into. I like this word. I think it's very interesting. The word jinko, with the kanji for person, and the kanji for mouth, is the word for population. So you can think about it as the number of mouths to feed in a particular area. Oh, I like this one. Waruguchi. So warui is a kanji, is the adjective that means bad. Waruguchi is to literally to badmouth somebody, just say bad things about them. The next kanji is a verb root. You'll notice it has several readings. It can be shutsu or shoot. They don't list it here, but it can be. It could be sui. When it is in the dictionary form of the verb, it could be the de of deru or the da of dasu. The core meaning of this kanji is to go out or put out. It looks like the kanji for mountain stacked on top of each other. However, that is not how the stroke order works. So you notice it's a little uncommon in that the big vertical stroke is the first stroke for this kanji. And then you draw essentially a repeating pattern of 1, 2 strokes. Lots of words employ this kanji. For example, shushin. Shushin is your birthplace or the place you're from. You might remember back in lesson 1 we had the question shushin wa doko desu ka? Where are you from? Really common question that you could be asked. Shusseki suru, to attend or to be in attendance. Yushitsu suru, export. Gaishitsu suru, to go outside. And then we have 3 verbs here that you will become or are already familiar with. We have deru, which is to come out, like to come out of the house or go out of the house. Ie o deru, ie o demasu. Dekakeru, which is also to go out. Deru is more like just the physical act of stepping outside. Dekakeru seems like a bigger process, like you're going out to go someplace. Dasu, using the same kanji but with a different hiragana to complete it as a verb, means to put something out, send something out, or take something out. All right, the next 2 kanji we have are the words for right and left. So the first one we're going to learn is the one that means right. This is right only in terms of right side or left side. This has nothing to do with correctness, that something is correct or right. The onyomi can be u or yu. The kunyomi is migi. So when you're asking somebody to, so you're in a taxi cab and you want them to take a right. Migi e itte kudasai. Please go right. We'll take a look at the stroke order. So you'll notice this and the next kanji, the kanji for hidari or left, both share the same first 2 strokes. In this case, the additional stroke or the additional radical is the mouth radical, which you just learned. Some words that employ this kanji, usetsu suru, to take a right turn. Sayu suru, which is the kanji for left and right, means to influence or control, I guess to move to the left or the right. Migi is right. Migite is the right hand side. Migigawa, also the right side, as opposed to the left side, not as opposed to the wrong side. Kanji for left, as you can see, same top 2 strokes, but a different radical to the right of that. Okay, so here we go once more with stroke order. The readings for this kanji, the onyomi is sa, the kunyomi is hidari. And again, the examples are very similar to what you just saw with migi. So sayu suru, hidari, left, hidari gawa, hidari muki, left facing. Okay. Where are we going here? So next, this kanji is another really frequent, all of these are frequently used kanji. This one has a couple of different base meanings. So it can mean to divide or to part, to separate into smaller units. And it's also the kanji for minute, like in terms of telling time, which totally makes sense because minutes are just segments of time separated into equal units. The onyomi could be bun or hun or pun or bu. The kunyomi is wa. So when it's the base of a verb, it will be wa. Interesting that the main radical for this is this part, which is the knife or the sword radical, which again makes a lot of sense because a knife or a sword is a tool that you can use to divide things into parts. We'll take a look at stroke order. So basically the kanji for 8, and then the kanji for sword or blade or knife. And notice this is not the kanji for strength because it does not protrude over the top of this line. This is a super high frequency kanji. You'll see it in a lot of words. Tabun, which means perhaps or maybe. Jibun, oneself. Nampun, how many minutes. Maihun, every minute, right? We know mainichi, maishu. You can also add maihun to your list of words that start with mai. Let's see, wakeru, to divide, like if you're cutting up a cake, keiki o wakeru. And wakaru, which is wakarimasu, right? To understand. And you can think of this as, so if you wakaru something, if you understand it, you can break it down into comprehensible parts. Just at least that's how I look at it. Okay, the next 4 kanji here are all sort of school related if you're doing the whole, breaking things down into categories. So this kanji is the sen of sensei. Onyomi is sen. Kunyomi is saki, and it means ahead. And we have the stroke order. We'll take another look at that. Those last 2 strokes are the radicals. Hitoashi, human legs. The top half is kind of the top half of the kanji for cow, which is where this hint comes from. The cow is a high-ranking animal or a high-legged animal. I have no idea what that means. But anyway, so we have sensei is a teacher or doctor. It's literally somebody who was born ahead of you because generally your teachers are older than you. Senshu, we recently learned in vocabulary, that is last week. Sengetsu, last month. Sengaki, last semester. So you can use this as a prefix to refer to a previous period of time. Senpai, if you're watching any sort of Japanese media content, you are familiar with senpai and kohai, that senior-junior relationship. It also uses this. Saki has a lot of different meanings. Point, end, front, lead, former. All depends on your context. All right. Then our next kanji is the sei of sensei, which can also be pronounced sho or jo in other contexts. And then look at all these kunyomis. You have I, U, O, Ha, Nama, Ki. These all can be the pronunciation for different verb forms of this kanji. So first, let's take a look at stroke order. So looks like that, goes like that. The basic meaning of this kanji has to do with life, birth, also being a student. The u reading of this comes from umu or umareru, to be born, to be brought to life, I guess, essentially. And as you might imagine, lots of examples of words that employ this kanji. A couple we already know. We know gakusei as a student. Sensei is a teacher. Issho, one's whole life. So literally one life. Tanjobi. Tanjobi is a birthday. So it's the date on which you arrived at birth. Next we get into all of these kunyomis. So ikiru. Ikiru means to live. It's also the title of a really fantastic movie by the legendary 20th century film director uh, Kurosawa. If you have access to Canopy, which is a video streaming service, you can watch Ikiru on Canopy. It's probably one of the most moving films I've ever seen. Might be tough to watch in these times because it's also kind of sad. Umareru is to be born. Oitachi, sorry, is your upbringing or your background. Haeru is to grow. This is used for like hair or grass, things that sprout. And they have a sprout over here as well. Hayasu, also to grow, like to grow out. Another reading that they did include nama. So nama tamago is a raw egg. So nama is sometimes used to mean raw or freshly produced. Nama pan, that doesn't sound right. Nama biru. For example, nama biru is draft beer because they're pulling it fresh from a keg. So it has this connotation of newness or freshness. Something like that. Oh my goodness, I thought we had already learned this kanji. This is the kanji that means big. So it can be pronounced as dai or tai or o, so a long vowel o written with two o's. This is the root of the adjective oki. 3 strokes. Look at it once more. You'll notice the person radical is in there, but this kanji by itself is a radical. If you make yourself big with your arms and your legs outstretched, you kind of look like this kanji. Some examples. Of course, we know daigaku as university, daigakuin, grad school, daitai, in general or mostly. If you've ever sent me an email because you couldn't make it to class because you weren't feeling well, I hopefully sent you back odaiji ni, which is a greeting you use to somebody who is under the weather to ask them to take care of themselves. Daijoubu also uses this kanji. Taihen, we've learned taihen. So taihen desu ne. If something is tough or challenging or terrible, literally the kanji is big and change. 今はちょっと大変ですね for sure. Oki means big, and then Osaka, Japan's second largest city. Literally, it's large hill or large slope. The next kanji is the gaku of daigaku. You're probably already used to seeing this. Its base meaning has to do with study, education, institutions of education. It's the gaku of, or gak, small tsu, for gakusei or gakko. If you use it as the root of a verb that means to learn, it is pronounced mana for manabu. Let's go ahead and take a look at stroke order. I like to call this the spiky-haired roof radical. And then on the inside, you have the character for child. So notice the character for child is not 2 strokes, but 3. I don't know what that hint means, but we have gakusei as student, gakusha as a scholar, daigaku, daigakuin, shogakukin is scholarship money, jinrui-gaku, anthropology, literally the study of types of humans. Lots of academic fields have gaku as their final kanji. For example, also gengo gaku, which is the study of languages, or linguistics. Gakko is school. Gakki is a term or a semester. Manabu is a verb that means to learn. I know here it says study, but you wouldn't say ima toshokan de manabimasu. That would sound weird. You would say ima toshokan de benkyou shimasu, right? I'm going to study at the library. This is sort of in a larger context. Only have 2 kanji left. This is the kanji that means outside. The onyomi is gai or ge. Got several kunyomi here. Soto, which is the word that just means outside. Hoka, which is other. And hazu, which is a verbal root. So take a look at stroke order. So the left-hand side is a lot like katakana ta, right? And then the right-hand side is a lot like katakana to. So that might help you figure it out. This hint will not help you figure it out, even though, yes, the left-hand side is the radical of yube or evening. I'm not getting into the whole fortune teller thing. Anyway, examples of words that use this. Gaikoku, so foreign countries. You can flip those kanji and use kokugai, which means to be outside the country. Kaigai ryoko, overseas travel. Gaishoku suru, so this uses this character plus the character for eat. Gaishoku suru is to eat out at a restaurant. Gaishutsu suru, we just learned the shutsu for deru. Gaishutsu suru is another word for to go out. It's essentially a synonym of dekakeru. Soto just means outside. And then some verbs that use this character. Hazusu, to remove. Hazureru, to become disconnected. Our final kanji for this lesson 6 is the kanji for country. Notice that it includes this border kunigamae radical. And here we'll see again, or start to see, that when you have a kanji that uses this enclosure radical, what you do is left side, top and right side, fill up the middle. In this case, it's filled with the character for king, and then seal it up. So originally this kanji didn't refer to foreign countries, it referred to the various feudal domains inside Japan. With like Kinokuni, that's basically how you get Kinokuni at the bookstore, the famous Japanese bookstore. And then later on, I think it was expanded to include other countries as well. So when you're just talking about this kanji on its own, it's kuni. When it's in combination with other things, the reading will be koku. So we have things like kokusai, international, kokuritsu, nationally owned. Shikoku is one of the 4 major islands of Japan. This is the one that's Western Japan, kind of nestled in along the inland sea. It's made up of 4 prefectures, which is why the name of the island is literally 4 countries. For other countries in Asia, sometimes rather than giving these countries katakana names, they are given kanji names, like Kankoku is South Korea, Chugoku, China. Kuni, country, kuniguni, various countries. And that's it. So these are your lesson 6 kanji. If you are currently in my JPN 402 class, you can go back to my courses and take a look at the week 9 module to help you figure out what to do next. If you are just watching this because you're studying Japanese on your own, good on you. It's a tough language. I hope some of what I produce can be useful to you. Thanks for watching.